Hi there, thanks for coming to tonight's talk, how to prepare for and recover from a long run. Okay, so as you may know, the long run is generally the most important run of the week. If you're building towards a 10k, a half marathon or longer, if you've ever experienced a run where your legs just start to feel heavy and like you're carrying cement, and chances are you haven't trained your legs to run as far as you have on that particular day. Okay, so say you're trying to run 16 kilometers and in the past you've only ever run 10. Regardless of how fast you run in that session, chances are you're going to get really heavy legs and it's going to be just hard work. You feel like you just want to stop and walk. So the long run really will help to grow the size of your gas tank, okay, so that you have the energy stored in your muscles to continue on to do that 16k or whatever you're doing on the day. The long run is also very hard on your legs. Okay, it can cause a lot of muscle soreness. It's sapping. Okay, basically you'll be running at slower speeds than what you usually would, maybe for your midweek runs, your tempos, your intervals, and for most of the run it should feel really quite comfortable. But just the repetitive nature, that thump, thump, thump. There's so many contractions going on through your muscles that just like a weight session, muscle damage does occur. Okay, if you are pushing further than what you have in your previous session, generally anything more than a couple of kilometers than what you've previously done is going to cause muscle soreness. Now obviously if you ran faster than what you have in the past and you tried to run further, then you're going to really struggle. Some of our guys on the Sunday run ran even just a couple 0.2, 0.3 kilometers faster than what they should have, and they started to pay for it later in the run. Okay, if you do the maths, you'll find out that actually you end up running at a much faster pace than what you should have been, and doing a lot more work than what your legs were actually prepared to do based on what you've done previously. We really want to treat our long run as if it's like a practice for the race. Okay, the closer you get to your main event, so for example if we're talking about the Cheltenham half, the runs will get longer and longer, they get closer to that half marathon distance. You want to make sure that your morning and even the night before, basically you're starting to set up these routines that is if you carry out this particular routine the night before and the morning of your long run, that when it comes to race day, you're going to be performing that same routine and you're going to have the same expectations of what's going to happen. And then you just got to make sure that you do the right thing in the event itself. You can make your long run much harder than it needs to be in the day before your long run by doing another run. We're doing our long runs on a Sunday morning, and I've had the odd person say, I want to do park run on Saturday. And that's fine, but they have to decide what their priority is, right? So if their priority is to just PB their park run and not really be too worried about how fast they do their long run or whether they can finish it or not, then I'll say go for it. But most of the time I'll be saying, look, chances are if you do park run or you do a race the day before your long run, that you are going to end up pushing yourself pretty hard and causing some fatigue, whether it be muscle soreness or just general neuromuscular fatigue, and that's going to inhibit your ability to perform your long run at the speeds that either your program tells you to, or at the speeds that you think you should be able to run this particular distance at. Hard weights training before your long run, any kind of training that wears you down, is going to make you feel a bit under the weather the next day, is going to make it harder for you to do your long run. Remember, this is your most important run of the week. It's the one most like your race, your half marathon or your marathon. So we really need it to be ideally set at a good pace. It's worth eating a fair bit in the day before and the morning of your long run. We want to make sure that you are full of energy. If you've had a busy day on Saturday and you've got your long run on Sunday, then you better make sure that you've eaten plenty and obviously drank a lot the day before, so that you are feeling well nourished out on your run. Obviously alcohol consumption can have an impact on your long run. I'd like to say that, I'd like to say that everyone should ideally not drink any alcohol the day before their long run, but you know, we have lives. If you've got a plan, then you should know which of your long runs are going to be particularly hard, and you know, you should have some easy weeks spotted in there as well. And you may feel that you can stay up later and have a bit more social time on the nights or days before your easier long runs. So yeah, sleep is obviously very important. You know, you may not feel tired when you go out for your long run at 9:30 in the morning, having stayed up till 1 or 2 at night, but by the end of that long run, you know, there's a pretty good chance that you'll start to feel the effects of this and start to regret having stayed up too late. So on the morning, you know, if it is a 9:30 run like what we're doing, obviously the breakfast becomes pretty important. Ideally, it's a good couple of hours before your run, and you know, if we're talking about a long run which you're going to be running at a fairly slow pace, you know, you should be able to talk to people for at least the first half of this run, then you can afford to eat some food which is going to last longer in your stomach, and you know, so I guess I'm really talking about your fatty foods, more protein. This food is good for ensuring that you're not feeling hungry during your run. There's no worse feeling, but it's not the sort of meal that you would have before an intense interval session or a tempo run. If it is a long run, you know, over a couple of hours, then you may feel the need to pack some snacks beforehand. You know, if you're going to be driving down to the start position for your long run, then you should take a bag with you, and obviously you're going to bring some water. You may bring a bar to either snack on, or a banana to snack on in the car, or once you get to the meeting venue if you're meeting other people. You know, if you keep to the correct pace at the start of the run, then there's no reason why these sorts of foods should cause you any stomach upset during the run. But obviously if it does, then you'll learn from that, and you'll make sure that you have something else or nothing at all next weekend when you do your long run. You know, again, if you know that you're going to be finishing your long run in a venue which is not home, then you want to make sure that you've got some key items. Obviously water's the most important, but you know, really we should be looking at how to recover optimally. Okay, so in the first 30 minutes after a long run, you have a special window, okay, where your body is extremely receptive to protein. Okay, so protein is the most important nutrient for repairing your muscles. So ideally you have a source of protein which is going to absorb into your body fast. Okay, now the idea of eating a chicken drumstick straight after your long run is probably not that appealing. Although I would, I think, if I was at home, you know. But a protein shake is ideal. Okay, some juice, some protein powder, water. You could throw some electrolyte supplement in there as well. That's kind of your ideal concoction. Maybe some berries whizzed up. That's not going to go so well if you have to drive to your venue and have it sitting in the cup for the whole couple of hours that you're running for. But it's the sort of thing that hopefully you've got someone at home who could whiz that up for you as soon as you get home to drink. But you know, if you are, say, finishing at a venue like this, then just a standard protein powder, juice and water will do the trick. You want to get that down into you as soon as you can after your long run. And warming up for your long run, if you're not going at a particularly vigorous pace, then this is the run that I wouldn't really ask too much of people for warm up. Okay, you're very unlikely to strain anything. The demands on your lung capacity are not going to be that intense, at least for the first half of the run. So I'd be surprised if you felt that if you didn't do a warm up, that your lungs were going particularly hard. So yeah, it's the one situation where I'd say don't worry too much about it. But in saying that, I'd still recommend that you do a warm up for a race. Straight after that long run, okay, so this is where I'm really going to start talking as if like the ideal world. Now this is a luxury I wish I could afford, but the ability to finish your long run and do things like have some hot cold, put your feet up, relax for the next few hours, maybe have a nap, so the parents here are laughing. So the ideal, right? My ideal run, if I was to come in, I would be finishing nearby somewhere with a pool, so that I could head down to that pool after my run, have a shower first of course, have my protein shake on the side of the pool, and then just walk up and down the pool, float on my back, just let the muscles kind of cool down. All right, we want to get those muscles cooled down as soon as we can. You know, you hear about professional athletes jumping in ice baths, horrific things. You don't want to do that. A swimming pool, you know, a few minutes in a swimming pool is going to bring your legs down to a decent temperature where they start to really, you know, stop that swelling and feel better. After getting out of the pool, I would then go straight to the sauna, and I would lie back and I'd have my feet up on a nice high ledge, so that all the waste products that have been pooling in my feet for that long run can then just run back into the rest of my body and get processed properly. Okay, if you finish a long run and then you're up on your feet for the rest of the day, your feet are just going to swell with horrific byproducts of exercise, and it's just not comfortable. I wouldn't wish it on anyone. So after my sauna, I would get back in the pool, maybe do some lengths, light kick. Again, I'd just be in and out of the pool or a spa pool for as long as I could. If I was at home, then I would be out on my deck with my feet up, back on the grass, again with my protein shake. Eventually I'd peel myself off, go inside, have a shower, and start fixing up some food. The hot cold thing I'd only really be able to do, I wouldn't bother doing it in a bath. But you could. But anyway, I'd start getting lunch ready, really. Oh no, the hot cold, if you hadn't, you know, often you'll have something that tightens up during your run. Okay, and you want to do a quick assessment on that. You know, if it continues to hurt when you're walking after your run, it might be that your calf's tightened up or something in your hip was playing up. You want to get ice on that pretty much as soon as you can after your run. Okay, so that's a luxury at home that you might not have at the gym, just to get some cold on that instantly, and ideally alternate between hot and cold. So you could have a hot water bottle, it goes on for 20 minutes after the ice, just alternating, because you've got nothing else to do during the day at all. You just maybe watch some sport on telly. You know. Lunch, look, you know, a balanced meal generally is going to cover it, right? So you should have some protein in there, some carbohydrate to regenerate the muscles, protein to fix the muscles if there's any damage, and just some, you know, some veggies, some greens, just to make sure that everything's ticking over properly. Okay, there's no need to then go and have this massive pure pasta dish to recover. Just to go back to eating normally. You'll probably be particularly hungry. Eat more, fine. I don't see a problem with that. Yeah, after your roller and after your shower and your lunch, ideally you would get on that foam roller and just to start just flushing the blood around your muscles, so calves, hamstrings, quads, IT bands, maybe your glutes as well, just to get things moving in there. And you know, in doing so, you will find out about tight spots that you could put some pressure on to try and loosen those off. It's not vital in the first 24 hours though after a run to do, in fact you wouldn't want to do any intense rolling and stretching in the 24 hours straight after a run. And you know, especially if you have had a muscle cramp up in that time in the run, I definitely wouldn't be stretching it or doing any intense rolling on it. It needs to just go through its course. The next day you start to ask yourself, is this actually something that needs to be seen, needs to be treated? Do we have any questions, guys? I'm sure there were some sore bodies after Sunday.
Had food the night before.
Yeah. Okay. So, yeah, I mean, look, if you haven't maybe eaten so well in the day before your long run on Saturday, you definitely want to get some carbohydrates into your pasta, bread, rice, potatoes, just to make sure those muscles are fully topped up with energy. But there's no reason why not have some protein in there as well, and your vegetables. You know, just make sure there's enough carbs. It's a good excuse. Anything else, guys?
Yeah. As I'm foregoing a park run on Saturday,
well done.
in accordance with your advice,
Yep.
I enjoy walking as an alternative low impact exercise.
Yep.
You're quite happy for me to go for a walk?
Yeah, on Saturday beforehand. Yeah, it's just basically it just comes down to if it's going to be anything which is going to put additional stress to what your body's used to. Okay, so if it's going to put basically make your system have to address what you've just done to it. Okay, so a walk hopefully is something that you're well used to doing, and it's not going to lead your body to then have to do a bunch of repair and regeneration. Okay, but yeah, walking is a great way to also recover from your long run. Swimming, anything low impact generally, over the next few days you should be looking to get those legs moving again, no matter how sore they are. The pool is an ideal thing to use. If you're sore after a run, the next day, getting down to the pool and doing some lengths. But to say walking, really light stretching, light rolling, 24 to 48 hours after the long run. And then hopefully you'll be fine by Tuesday. Right?
And you mentioned protein supplements. What sort of thing is that exactly?
Sure. So protein supplements have been used by bodybuilders for years and years.
Right.
But sports people have now adopted them as well. And the reason for this really is just that protein powder will absorb into your body much faster than meat.
Where do you get these things from?
All sorts of health stores and the supermarket do sell them. I'm not a big fan of artificial flavours, so you'll find that a lot of these supplements will have artificial flavouring and taste nice. So look out for those, your E numbers. I have a great source based in Gloucester that provides soy protein, dairy protein, but it's all natural. There's no artificial rubbish in there at all, so you're not poisoning your body. But yeah, very useful. And a bar is a good option as well. If you, especially if you don't have time to prepare drinks, just having bars in your bag, protein bars, that taste decent with a cup of tea, which can also be hard to find. Good options as well. Any other questions? Nope. Cool. All right.